What's up, guys? I am excited for this episode today because this is a question I've been getting from people in my sphere constantly. It's something that I think there's this misconception out in the digital world, in the influencer world, of where you should be after making content for 1 year. If you guys are currently making content, whether you're past that 1 year period or you're just getting started, if you're aspiring to be an influencer or already one, I think you're gonna get a lot of value from this episode because I'm gonna go through everything I have done in terms of making content for my personal brand over the last year and give you guys an update, as well as tell you all the lessons that we learned as a team along the way in making that content. Right now, personal branding, being an influencer is all the rage. It's really cool, and for good reason, because personal people are easy to connect with. You're able to tell your story, you're able to engage the emotion of your audience, you're able to build a brand that's powerful and has a lot of weight for some of the brands out there. So specifically, if you are catering to one niche, if you're offering services and the services relate to you, building a personal brand is one of the easiest ways to start to get your name out there, to start to get all of those touch points, all of that branding, all of that marketing out there to keep you top of mind so that the people around you in your sphere, as well as abroad, think of you when the time is right and get your services. Now, before we get started, I want to talk about a couple of the platforms that I've been building content for the last year. And I'm just gonna go through the list of platforms we've been focusing on right now. So first of all, we got YouTube, then we got TikTok. Those are the two most important to me, but then we still filter a lot of that YouTube content out to other platforms. Those platforms are Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. The podcast goes to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google. We also produce content for my website and for Medium. And then we have gotten into a little bit of Reddit and a little bit of Pinterest, etc. on the side, but we're not gonna talk about those today. We haven't put much attention into those. Now at this point in time, I know we're gonna put on the screen in this video some of my profiles so that you guys can see already where I'm at. And I don't have the exact numbers, but you'll see them on the screen. Facebook, I'm at roughly 3,600 followers as of the making of this video. YouTube, I got 300 subs. On TikTok, I believe we're almost at 43,000 followers. And then we got all the other platforms. Medium, I'm at around 500. LinkedIn, I got 28,000 followers. Twitter is a smaller audience. We've been building content for all of the platforms, and the reason I'm putting all these numbers on the screen is I really want you guys to recognize that we even thought that we might be a little further down the line after 1 year of building content every single day. But the misconception out there is that everything just explodes, that social media compounds as soon as you get going, and that's just not the case. After focusing on your sphere, after building content, after developing that relationship with people, you're building your relationship online one follower at a time. And each of those followers matter. We've learned that, and now we've experienced what dedicating the time to those followers, each follower, can do for your brand. And we are really excited now about the next couple years and where we can take all of these profiles. Now, without further ado, I want to get into the value stuff, the stuff that you guys are waiting for, and that is what we learned for building content for an entire year. I'm gonna start with one of my pro tips. This is one of the things we really learned over the last year, and that is to build native content to each platform. Let's look at my TikTok profile. We started when TikTok was starting to get a lot of that interest, when it was starting to scale. We got really excited as a team. We saw TikTok as the next platform, and right away I said, let's start building videos for TikTok. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom of my profile on TikTok, I haven't deleted any video that we've ever posted. And you'll see those original videos that we posted weren't native to TikTok. They were just some of the content that I had taken from some of my other episodes from Facebook, from Instagram, from YouTube, and we just cut them to be onto TikTok. We didn't use native sound. We didn't use any of the trends that were going on. We weren't using the appropriate hashtags. What happened was all of them flopped. And we learned an important lesson right then, right there, that you have to build native content. As you scroll up my TikTok profile, you'll see the different phases of content that we made as we created and corrected, and got to that native content, which now we just produce native content for each of the platforms. As you scroll up, you will see all of the times we created and corrected. You'll see all of the different phases of content on TikTok as we tried to get more and more native to what the followers on TikTok were looking for what my audience on TikTok was looking for. Only then did we start to see some of the successes of some of the videos that we were producing. The second tip of what we've learned building content for an entire year is focus on your sphere first. That's the same on every platform. Whatever the people are around you, whatever your niche is, whoever your friends and family are, focus on building your audience around those people first. I think another thing, and we were guilty of this a little bit as well, is we were looking at the beginning, building all this content. We were thinking we were going to get this international audience from day one, where we were advertising to them, we were boosting our Facebook posts to this huge audience. But the huge audience doesn't know who I am at that point in time. So when you're getting started, in order to develop the engagement, in order to get that brand rolling, focus on your sphere first. Focus on the people around you. As you start to develop that relationship with them online, that sphere is going to grow bigger and bigger over time. Now that we've recognized that, we're focusing on that sphere in every single platform. On Facebook, we're building content that caters to the people around me, the people in Canada. TikTok is the exact same. A lot of times I will do Canadian content, spinning a toonie or wearing my Canadian hat. On LinkedIn, I'm building content that relates to the city we live in Edmonton, Alberta. Focus on your sphere first. It will help develop that core followers, those true believers that will build your audience and your brand over time bigger and bigger. The next thing we've learned is building content is a ton of work. If you're getting into the influencer game, if you're getting into the content game and you think you're just gonna snap a couple pictures, put them on Instagram and away it goes, you are not going to make it. And the reason I say that is we have now learned that building that native content for each platform, it's a full-time job. And it's a full-time job per platform. Let me take YouTube for example. Right now, we are shooting a video. That video will go through an editing process, through a rendering process, through an export process, maybe through a revision process. Then that video gets uploaded. You have to look at a thumbnail. We're going to look at building captions for that video. We have to write the description for that video. This video alone could take an entire day, maybe 2 days to get live, not including when we build vlogs, not including when we're traveling doing other things. It's a full-time job just for YouTube. So when you're starting to develop your content, when you're trying to build your personal brand, recognize that you're going to be focusing on one platform. You're going to be putting all of your attention into building that one audience, which comes to the next thing we learned. Whenever you're starting, if you only have the resources of one person, if you are building the content yourself, recognize that you need to try to focus on one platform. Build your audience and your brand value on one platform. Allow that to grow. Then from there, that audience will transfer to other platforms over time. If you still want to have all the platforms, that's fine. But you're going to be building, let's say you choose Instagram, build native content, really nice photos for Instagram, get into IGTV, build everything for Instagram for what your audience on Instagram is looking for. Then over time, that audience from Instagram may move to Facebook, it may move to Twitter, wherever you have your other platforms. And that Instagram content could get posted on Facebook or Twitter. It might not be native to those platforms. However, you can post it out for some validation. Don't expect it to go anywhere. For myself, we have pivoted. We have learned that. So now, with the resources that I have working on my brand, our focus all goes into YouTube and TikTok. Those are the two platforms that we're focusing on. All of the content that goes on to all of my other platforms comes out of this YouTube content that we make, gets cut up into pieces. This pillar content moves to other platforms. But our expectations on the other platforms aren't as high as we have on YouTube and on TikTok because we know that it's not necessarily native for those platforms when we're posting it out. Next thing that we learned, and of everything today, if you listen to this, this is the most important thing that we've learned so far by a mile. Build content for what you love. I recognize that my passion comes in building these marketing tip videos, for building really creative videos on TikTok. So that's what we're doing now. That's what we're focusing on. We're building an audience around what I love to do so that there's no burnout down the road. This is a ton of work. You still are going to have a side job as you're getting going. You're still got to deal with everything that happens in regular life. And building content is going to be that second shift. You're going to be putting a lot of your hours into building content. So do it for what you love. We have met so many content creators over the last couple years that have been building content just based on trying to create an ROI. And we think that those people are going to get cycled out by the algorithms because their passion for their content isn't going to be there in the end. They're going to burn out. And after burning out, they're not going to be able to produce the content of value that you guys are going to love. I was sounding pretty grim there on some of this stuff, but trust me, it's not that grim. There's a ton of light and so much fun when building content for a year. Now I'm going to give you some of the examples of some of the successes that we had, and then give you a couple more tips on why those videos and why that content succeeded, so that you can take that knowledge to your brand as you get started. Q, what was the best videos that we've done this year? Let's talk about some of those. Escalator on TikTok was one of the coolest videos and most fun that we had this year. And let me talk about that one. This escalator video was shot at West Edmonton Mall, middle of the week on an iPhone. We were in West Edmonton Mall, we had a tripod, we just set it down, and I rode down the escalator. Then we had the escalator run for a reference, and we masked and cut myself into various pieces so that when the escalator went down, I disappeared. This video went out onto TikTok and got 6 million views. As soon as we posted it, it just exploded. It's to date the biggest viral video that we've been able to produce for my personal brand. And it was so exciting. We were laughing in the office, we were having fun, we were trying to answer every single comment and we couldn't even keep up. That was amazing. That was one of the experiences that we will never forget as a team. What we learned from that video is this: by making something that captured attention, that held your view time, and that was shared a ton on TikTok, that video exploded. It allowed us to learn a little bit about the TikTok algorithm. Sometimes when you're looking at the algorithms, you just can't figure them out. And TikTok is one of the ones where some videos get the watch time and the shares, but they don't go. Some get likes and comments, but they don't go. But what happened with the escalator video that we really learned is that the watch time was over the total time of the video. Secondly, it got a ton of shares in comparison to the amount of views that it had. Thirdly, it did get the comments and it did get the likes. Now, what that told us was the engagement was across all of the engagement metrics on TikTok, and we got the two which we consider the most important, which are the shares and the watch time. What else, Q? What were the other fun ones that we had? Most of the fun ones we had were on TikTok, but we've built in the last year roughly 360, 350 videos to date on TikTok in the last year. So we've had a lot of this success on TikTok because that's what we were focusing on. Another one was the hat, and I don't even have the hat here today, but I have another one. This is one of the hats that we made on TikTok, and this is an interesting one because this is a hat that flopped. This is a hat that got almost no views. I think it got around 3,000 views. In comparison to the other hat that you may have seen, I have a video about it. It's called the legendary TikTok hat, 3 million views on a TikTok hat. That hat had 3 million views. What we learned on these hats is simple. The first hat was me sitting in this kitchen with some fabric markers, making just my authenticity one morning, just my creativity, coloring on the hat. And it was a clean time lapse of the video. We posted it out, we had no expectations, and it exploded. Then this hat was one where we all of a sudden sat back, we planned it out a little bit. We were thinking, we had huge expectations for it, and it flopped. Building content on any platform, whichever one you choose. If you are yourself, if you're dealing with what you love, if you're dealing with your creativity and you have no expectations, that's the content where you offer the most value to your audience. That's the content that's gonna go. If you overplan it, it shows in the video. People can tell it's scripted and it doesn't have the same effect. That is definitely something that we are going to take into 2020 and beyond, because we really believe that just building that content based on your creativity makes a huge difference. The last success I'm going to talk about is my Facebook page. I don't dedicate a lot of time to my Facebook page, but a lot of the marketing movies, a lot of the travel videos, a lot of these tips that I post to Facebook are starting to get more engagement. When I started a year ago, I got very little engagement. I was focusing on that international audience. I wasn't thinking about building the relationship, and I was offering value, but it wasn't the value that the audience was looking for. Now that I've started to focus on my sphere first, and I'm building content that people can relate to, the people that know me, the engagement's starting to grow. And for me, that was a huge success. It's still not up there. I'm still not getting a ton of engagement across Facebook, but I can see the progress, and the progress is building. As long as I keep putting out content where I can see that growth, I'm really excited, and I'm excited of where we can possibly take that Facebook page in the next couple years. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you got some value from it. I hope you got some value from what we've learned in the last year. Recognize, if I'm going to sum it all up, recognize that after 1 year of building content every single day, the expectations have to be that you're starting to get the engagement, that your people are watching your videos longer, that your content is starting to gain traction. It's not going to be 1 million followers in the first year. It's a huge misconception. I think it sets the expectations and the goals up for a lot of influencers and a lot of creators and makes them disappointed really quickly where they don't continue the grind. Building content's gonna take time. I know to build my brand, it's gonna take 5, 10 years, and we are gonna dedicate ourselves to building content every single day during that time frame, loving every single day, having fun building that content every single day. That's what matters. And that's it for this episode. Can't wait to see you guys in the next episode. If you got value, hit subscribe and let me know in the comments below if you have anything else to add. That's all.